Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 8 of the Longbox Chronicles. Tonight I will be taking a look at a series that has been requested since I started the Longbox Chronicles. A lot of people have heard of the story of Faust, and if you haven't, well, you have seen something that at least references it. A man sells his soul to Satan for happiness and knowledge. Any story that involves a deal with the devil takes its cue from Faust. The difference between most of those stories and tonight's subject, One More Day, is that all those other stories are, for the most part, at least decent. This is going to be painful, guys. I'm just going to warn you right now. This series is shit. The story starts with Aunt May lying in a hospital bed after a failed attempt on Peter Parker's life. The doctor overseeing May informs Peter and Mary Jane that without proof of insurance or some way to pay for care, May will have to be treated in the hospital's charity ward. This infuriates Peter, who snaps at the doctor and storms out of the hospital. While swinging around the city, Peter arrives at Stark Tower looking for Tony Stark. He breaks in, and this triggers the alarms. Tony Stark immediately suits up and goes after the intruder. Shortly after, they blast out a window. Peter webs up Iron Man's jets, causing both of them to crash into an alley. Iron Man blinds Peter with a unibeam blast. Peter puts a stop to that by webbing the crap out of Iron Man. He then rips off the mask so he can talk to Tony Stark face to face. He informs Tony that May is dying, and Peter blames Stark for it, citing all of the registration bullshit from Civil War. After being asked to help with the hospital bill, Tony declines because Peter is a fugitive. Sure, dude, don't help a guy who has helped you so many times in the past because of your political position, you arrogant, alcoholic prick. Peter goes back to the hospital to check on Aunt May. As Mary Jane informs him that May is still a vegetable, Tony Stark's butler Jarvis shows up posing as May's cousin. He gives the hospital $2 million that just showed up in his bank account to care for May. Damn, I guess Stark's heart isn't as much of a shriveled, worthless husk as I thought it was. As May is being moved, the doctor stops Peter to tell him that there is nothing that can be done and that May will die. Instead of staying with his aunt for the last of her days, Peter throws on the tights and goes looking for someone to help. Spidey seeks out Sorcerer Supreme Dr. Strange for help. Strange tells Spider-Man point blank that there is nothing that can be done. But Spidey refuses to listen to reason, so Strange opts to help get a few other opinions. He uses an artifact called the Hands of Death to turn Spider-Man into hundreds of spectral copies of himself. These forms seek out every mystic, scientist, and super genius in the Marvel Universe, and they all give him the same answer that Strange gave. Apparently old Webhead is a bit too dense to get the hint. He uses the Hands of Death to send himself back in time to try to stop what happened to May. He tries to knock out the sniper, but finds out that he can't touch him. Before he can try to do something else, he is attacked by strange black creatures. He gets away from them just in time to watch May take the bullet in the gut again. The creatures show up again, and before they can do any more damage, Strange shows up and saves Spidey's bacon. While Spider-Man heals his spiritual wounds, Dr. Strange tells him that it is May's time to go, and no one can do anything to stop it. He tells Spidey to do the right thing and be with his aunt in her final moments. As Spider-Man heads back to the hospital, he runs into a little girl. She says she knows how to save May, and that Spider-Man is a greedy asshole for wanting to save her. As he chases her down, he runs into a guy who looks like a cross between me and Stephen King. He mentions that he is a software designer and tester, and how he likes to escape reality through video games. Before Spider-Man can talk to him any further, a man in a limo shows up and offers Spidey a ride. With absolutely no provocation, the stranger talks about how he was picked on in high school, so he showed up all the bullies by making millions on his various inventions, but never found true love. When Spidey leaves the limo, he runs into a woman who explains what he just saw. Apparently, my clone is Peter Parker if he wasn't bitten by the spider and turned his anger at the world inwards towards himself. The rich guy is Parker if he wasn't bitten and turned his anger outward. When asked about the little girl, the woman doesn't give an answer, but she does show her true form as Marvel's stand-in for Satan, Mephisto. Mephisto explains that he can save Aunt May's life for a price. He takes Spider-Man back to his apartment, and Mephisto lays his plans out for both Peter and Mary Jane. Mephisto doesn't want a soul in this deal. He wants their marriage. The next day, Peter wakes up and talks to Mary Jane about the offer. Mary Jane, just as Doctor Strange before her, explains to Peter that it is just May's time to go. Peter, being the thick-headed dipshit that he is, refuses to listen to reason. Since the bullet was meant for him, he cannot let her die from it. As Peter and Mary Jane hold each other and continue to ponder their decision, Mephisto shows up demanding their decision. When they ask why he wants their marriage, Mephisto explains that their marriage is a very rare case of true love united by God. To all of you out there who are married, Marvel Comics just said that odds are your marriage is a crock of shit. I just want you to let that sink in for a minute. He continues to explain that taking something like that away from God would be the ultimate victory. Mary Jane instantly agrees to the deal under the condition that Peter's identity once more be made secret, and that Peter gets a chance at happiness. She whispers something else into Mephisto's ear that further locks in the deal. Mary Jane begs Peter to agree to the deal, and he does just that. Before Mephisto completes the deal, he finally explains the meaning of the little girl. He takes her form and explains that she was the daughter that Peter and Mary Jane were going to have that will now never be born. Peter and Mary Jane spend their final moments as a couple in a loving embrace before Peter Parker wakes up in bed and notices he's late for a party. He sees Aunt May making breakfast. He gives her a kiss on the cheek and races out the door. He gets to the party just in time and he chats with Flash Thompson. We find out that Mary Jane is a bit of an ice queen and that Peter did something to really piss her off. Before we can find out what, Harry Osborn shows up. The party is for Harry, who just got back from Europe. Harry gives a toast to friends and to a brand new day. There it is, guys. One more day. Now, I know what a lot of you are asking. Who the hell thought this steaming pile of shit was a good idea? Well, that would be Marvel Editor-in-Chief Joe Quesada. For some reason, he thought that the idea of Spider-Man being married was a bad thing. So he wanted to undo that. Even though Marvel was doing that with the Ultimate and Marvel Adventures versions of Spider-Man, Quesada wanted to screw with the original Spider-Man. Now, there are a lot of ways that he could have done this. Mary Jane could have been killed by a villain, or they could have gotten a divorce. Wait. Divorce was not an option. Quesada thought divorce would be a bad idea. But I guess selling your marriage to Satan and aborting your future child is a much better idea. It's been almost 3 years since this smoking turd was crapped out by Marvel Comics, and the Spider-Man franchise has yet to recover. From what I've been told by people who regularly read the various Spidey books, it has been almost all downhill ever since. If you see any of these books in your local comic shop, for the love of God, don't fucking buy them. Don't even buy them out of curiosity. Avoid these goddamn things at all cost. This thing makes painful shit like Maximum Carnage and the Clone Saga look like solid gold. This book is an insult to anyone who knows anything about Spider-Man. One More Day has no right to exist, and the man responsible for it should be taken out in public and beaten for this grievous sin against the comic book world. Seriously, guys, I cannot begin to explain how much I truly despised this fucking book. Until next time, guys, take care, and I'll see you all in the near future. Peace.